Alright, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a 7-day creative transformation. So this is something I've wanted to do for so long and I never did it, but I finally sat down this last week and went ahead and went through it. So basically I didn't have like a set time each day. Rather, I just wanted to make an effort to go into creative each day. So it was about an hour to 4 to 5 hours that I was playing on creative. And to my surprise, it worked out pretty well. Like I even discovered 2 new things that I don't think anyone's ever done in Fortnite before. Maybe it has been done, but I can confidently say that I personally discovered it myself. I didn't see it from anyone else. Now this is a video that can be easily fabricated. So I just want to get this out of the way right now. Like if you think about it, anyone could go into creative for like 30 days and say, oh, I did this in 7 days. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you my word. I did not do that. There's even like parts in day 7 that are messed up that I fell short on, like different aspects of building. And so that's just proof not everything's perfect. Like this is honest documentation of what happened. So with that said, also I will release this map that I made, this 1v1 map, at 3,000 likes on this video. So if you do want to see that, leave a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And with that said, let's get right into it. Day number 1, I started off with doing a double edit through the flat and the cone. This is something that so many players I've seen have been able to do forever. And I just was never able to do it. Like my timing was just always off. And without practicing, it was just gonna stay off. So the first thing that I did was tackle that double edit, and within easily like 30 minutes I was able to get at least 2 to 3 straight edits through, and then I would mess up. So it got a lot better within 30 minutes, but it wasn't anything amazing. So the next thing I wanted to do was the 6-layer ramp brush. I actually did this a while ago, like back in October, November of last year, and I did it without any paddles or claw grip, like just a normal Xbox controller, and I had to actually walk whenever I did it. I couldn't do it running full speed. But after trying this format that I've seen a lot of people do nowadays, it actually worked out really well. Like you put the ramp in the flat first, and then you fall off of your top ramp, and at that point you would jump and finish off that like the left side, and then you'd move to the right side and quickly put that one together. And doing that format, it works out really well. Like within 15-20 minutes, I was able to get this down, and it was pretty consistent to my surprise. So day 2 comes along, and the first thing I had to work on was every single 90 variation, because I wanted to make a video in which I would cover all of that. But I worked on every 90, and to my surprise, again, it actually all worked out pretty smoothly. I already had good experience doing 90s, so I was able to learn each variation and get them down within 10 to 15 minutes of trying each one. While I was doing the 90s, I actually discovered a new way to do 90s, and I call it the protective 90. I don't know if anyone's ever done this before, but I'm just calling it that because I did discover it on my own. But basically what you do is you do a 90, right? And after you do that 90, you go and jump to the, like let's say you're doing a traditional right 90. So you're starting on the left side of your ramp, and as you're turning your reticle to the right, you do a 90, and then you jump to the left. At the same time, you place a pyramid above you, and you put a wall and a ramp. You land on the ramp on the left, and you do it again. You do another 90, continuously do this movement, and in doing so, it just completely confuses your opponent because they just see a bunch of cones going up, and they don't really know what you're doing, but this is what you're doing. You're doing a bunch of 90s basically, and they're super protective. I don't know how effective it is, but again, at least you can confuse your opponent into not knowing exactly what you're doing. With that said, I then moved on to the advanced tunnel build, which is something I see Sway do a bunch, in which you basically turn around and do a 180. At the same time, you place some walls and a pyramid and flat above your head, and you just continuously do this 180 motion. And what this does is just completely cover your head. It just makes it to where you're not exposed at all, and you have insane protection from anyone that's above you, and it's just a really good build to get down. The pace was the most important thing with this one. It just took so long to understand when to turn, when to land, like where, not even when, like where to land on your ramp, where to turn, and just that kind of stuff. So again, it took 20 to 30 minutes, and I finally got it down pretty well, but it's still not, I'll be honest, it's still not very consistent. I can get some consistent clips like I've shown you, but again, it's not like I can hop in and just start banging these out. It just doesn't work like that for me. I got to put some more practice into these for sure. The last thing I did was I worked on my jumping to the side with cones. And so what you do is you kind of do this 180 motion with cones and then attach it to your ramp with walls. And then you edit through one of the cones, just like so. And in doing so, it was, kind of something very simple. You just need to practice it to understand like how to do it. And once you practice it, you get it down so fast. Like this is really basic. Anyone can do this. It didn't take too long at all. So day 3 comes along, and I work on perfecting the double edit through the flat and the cone. I completely perfected it. I got a clip of like 5 or 6 edits in a row, and I felt pretty good about that one from there on out. I also did my first formulaic build in that I would do 2 traditional 90s, and then I would put a ramp on the left as I was ramping up, and I would jump to the side while placing overhead cover, and then I would tunnel away and do that exact same 4 cone, jump to the side, edit through the cone. etc. I also did a variation where I jumped to the side of the cone and landed on a flat and ramp. That's another thing that I see Sway do a bunch, and it's for a reason. That thing is insane at getting you high ground. Like, if you can master that, that is gold. And besides that though, day 3 was nothing too special. I just worked a ton on those movements. So day 4, I actually don't have any creative free build clips, surprisingly. I'm not really sure what I did day 4, but I do know that I went into actual 1v1s and tried to pull off some of the things that I learned already from the week. And so one of the things that I did in this clip was the 4 cone jump to the side, edit through. It wasn't anything special in getting me high ground, but I did pull it off in an actual pressure situation. And then I edited through this flattened cone, and I hit this insane snipe. It was just something I had to throw in the video because it's nothing I'm going to do ever again, probably. But yeah, pretty cool snipe. So day 5 was a ton of stuff, like just packed full of things that I accomplished. The first thing I did was switch the map to have a day and night cycle because I got really tired of seeing just the night shadow and, you know, the night light. I was tired of it. It looks cool for a while, but then you just get tired of it. So the first thing that I learned on day 5 was the advanced 180 back edit, because this is when it was kind of gaining traction, which is this thing you see right here. I'm sure most of you guys have seen this by now. I don't know who made it or who came out with it, but I have seen it all over Twitter. And essentially what this is you edit one side of your ramp, and in doing so, it allows you to jump onto it and then do a 180, put 3 walls high, jump up and land on a flat and a ramp. It's kind of hard to pull off because you have to turn around, and while you're backing up, you have to time when to jump, and it's just a really difficult thing to pull off. And so in doing so, I was kind of like, there must be an easier way to do this, right? And so what I kind of learned after playing around with the ramp is that you can do what I call the advanced 180 front edit rather than the back edit. And with this variation, you can actually time a lot easier when you jump and land on that flat and ramp because you're moving forward rather than moving backwards. And you'll see just trying both, this one is way easier to get down. And yes, you're technically one thing lower, but you can easily just crank out a 90 and get to that same exact height. So after perfecting that one, I went ahead and moved to the protective 90, just working on that again. I perfected that one, I got it down to a science, and to the point that I was messing around with different variations. For example, I started working on a variation which I did 2 90s afterwards, and then try to keep, you know, constantly doing that. And after a while, it just got to the point where I did 190. And right here, you can see a comparison to a traditional ramp tunneling. And you can see that my version, the protective 90 is much steeper and it gives you a ton more cover, obviously. So if you can get that down, it's probably very effective. But after doing this, I went ahead and moved to my second formulaic build in which I incorporated the protective 90 and the advanced 180 front edit and tried to make something with that. And so this was kind of the beginnings of me putting all this together into an actual build fight situation and kind of what I wanted to do with that. So day 6, I finally did the third formulaic build, which is the one that you saw on Twitter if you're following my Twitter. At Trypal_YT, shameless promotion. But yeah, so this one, I kind of changed the formulaic build to where it makes more sense, to where you have more cover, right? So you do your protective 90, you jump up and put some more protection over your head, and then you ramp off in one direction, and you do a 180 that way. And so there's not really a place to be shot except for the top of your 180 edit. But also to help with that, I added a cone at the top after you add the additional cover over your head. And so if you can land that cone, it's perfect. It's a little bit more difficult to do and remember to do, but in doing so, you'll have a little bit more cover whenever you go ahead and make that 180 turn with the edited ramp. So after a while though, I got this down pretty well and I felt really good, and I thought that this was as far as I was going to go, but I ended up changing it on day 7, which I'll get to in a second. Also on day 6, I went ahead and worked on my wall editing speed. I've always been working on this, you know, whenever you're bored. This is kind of what it's looking like right now. It's not horrible, but it'll get better. So now we get to day 7. I had to pull out the soccer skin because, you know, it's just that time. I also put the moonlight setting back because I was missing it. I don't know, man. It looks clean sometimes and you get tired of it after a while. But yeah, I had to put the soccer skin on because we're sweating now. It's day 7. We've had some drastic improvement. We've earned the soccer skin. We got to hit this 4th formulaic build. So in this one, I wanted to kind of incorporate a ton of the elements that I learned throughout all the days and just put it into one formulaic build. I fell short a little bit, but not really, kind of. I'll show you. So the first thing that I wanted to do was have the 2 cone and flat edits at the beginning. Then I wanted to do a protective 90 followed by jumping up and putting additional cover in your head, rotating into one direction, and doing the advanced 180 front edit. And then from there, I would kind kind of ramp up and try to do the 6-layer ramp rush at least one time, and then I would do a double or triple edit all the way down onto a scoreboard, and then I'd drop the mic. That was kind of the idea of it. I kept messing up one thing each time. I would always, like, I would just different parts that I would mess up. But the best run that I did get, I just missed one ramp on the 6-letter ramp rush. I was like, forget it. After this was literally like 4 hours, day 7, trying to get this down, and I was like, after 4 hours, like, I'm gonna call it good. Like, it's fine, it's all good. So I fell short a little bit, but hey, there's still drastic improvement. So yeah, guys, that's basically it. I hope you did enjoy. There's tons of different variations that you can do with that protective 90 and the advanced 180 front edit. Hopefully you learned something new and you can try these out for yourself, kind of make them better maybe, I don't know. But yeah, if you want to see this map, the code for it, I will release it at 3,000 likes, so make sure you leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.